Oh, yeah.
First, I want to just thank everybody that this is an honor to do this, and the first time that I did it was my first year teaching at Brunch, and I was 22 and about to turn 23, and all of the people in the audience were definitely thinking how old I was. You know, I'm a teacher, and so there's this vast chasm, even though it's only 4 years, and now I'm 32, turning 33, and you think I'm ancient, and that's always a good feeling. I'm bald also, so that doesn't help. But it's not as good as the feeling that the Palatine Police gave me today when I was sitting there watching them talk. And I felt it was awesome that you got to spend your last day with us at Brunch High School hearing about A, how you're going to burn up, and the fire department is not going to save you. They're not going to. Don't even ask them. They will not save you. They've made that very clear at this point, that they are not going to save you. And then the police tell you that you are going from a world where you have to worry about big, creepy vans to a world that is a big, creepy van. Congratulations on graduating! Welcome to the big creepy van. So, this is you know, and I read names. I've read names at graduation before, and I feel like this is a much more exciting event because this is kind of the last chance. Well, if you exclude the Palatine Police and Fire Department, this is the last time to talk to you. I hope that I can have a little bit more of an uplifting message than the one that I just reminded you of. So, I'm going to just kind of try to share with you some wisdom that I've gained in my years and via some experiences and such that I've had. So, first thing that I want to talk to you about is being open to where life takes you. And this is something that for a lot of students at Friend is kind of a foreign concept because you are super motivated people and Rowdy over there, Rowdy with the yearbook photographer. Oh, Eric Clausen's at that table. Surprise, surprise. There it is. God knows that Brian Wozlick's on his cell phone over there. As soon as he hears my voice, he takes it out and starts playing some game, him and Pat Stitch. Oh no, it's away, it's away. Anyway, being open to where life takes you because, you know, some of you, and next year we're going to even offer AP classes to freshmen. And that is a crazy concept to me that 14-year-olds are going to be taking a college-level class. Like, that's wild, you know. And so many of you are like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a I'm going to go here. I'm going to be a doctor. Even Yale, who's going to get up here and talk to you later, he's fast-tracking his way to dentistry. Right, Yale? Yeah. But I want to use me as an example because when I was in 6th grade, I came home from school and my mom told me that she was pregnant with yet another sibling. Right? Not such exciting news when you're Jason Spoor, the oldest of 4 boys, and you know your parents can already not afford to clothe you in what everybody else is wearing. You know, so you're going to school in like Payless Shoe Store's Nike knockoffs, which did not go over well. Yeah, exactly. And so then you're like, another baby, you know, I was a little bit angry. But then as my mom, you know, was pregnant, I was like, this is a really cool process, and would go to the doctor, and I was for sure going to be a doctor. Like, I wanted to deliver babies. And so imagine you have this 11-year-old that you meet, and you're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be an obstetrician, you know. So I was sure that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an obstetrician. And then I started going through school, and I realized that I hate math. Hate it. I hate it. And I stopped taking it in high school. I was like, I'm out, like, with this math business. I can't do it. I'm not good at it. I don't want to do it. And I started to think about what else I could do and what inspired me and what I was thinking. And I was looking at some of my teachers, and I had some really great teachers. I had some really awful ones, too, but I had some really great teachers. And I felt like that was the direction I needed to go. So I go to Illinois Wesleyan, I get my teaching certificate, and I really feel like I made an amazing decision, right? Come back to that, but that's one of those moments, right? Second one I want to tell you about is when I was in Peru. I went to Peru to hike the Incan Trail, right? And if you remember me about a year and a half ago, I was a fatty, I'm going to be honest. I was a big old bald fatty. And that's okay, you know, so I'm sitting there, I didn't exercise. I still don't really run unless I'm being chased by somebody with a blunt object or something like that. Or I see Mike Bandersky coming down the hall and I tend to run in those moments. But these are the times like when people are telling you that you're not going to be able to do it, whatever. It's a 4-day hike in the mountains. You know, you're high up, altitude, there's a lot of issues. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And then I had these grand intentions of like training for it and going to the gym and managed to go on like a hike at Devil's Lake and considered that my training for hiking for 4 days in the Andes Mountains. And I get to Peru and we're on this hike and the first 3 days of the hike, I was in a relatively okay place. But by the afternoon of the third day, I was like, this is a nightmare. I don't know who would voluntarily pay thousands of dollars to do this, but I made that choice. And I'm sitting there, we're sleeping in a tent. I'm sleeping in a tent with Mrs. Marsh, all right, who, not in that way, not in a dirty Miss Marsh way, all right. She was already dating Mr. Hayes at that time, so it was all right. So we're sleeping in this tent, and she was taking this altitude sickness medicine, which she's going to kill me that I'm sharing this with you right now, was making her a little gassy, all right? So we're locked in a gassy tent at night, right? And it's freezing in the mountains at night, freezing cold. And I wake up, you know, you're laying on the ground, you're exhausted, but you can't sleep because there's rocks or anything else. So I wake up at like, I don't even, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, everybody else is asleep. And I leave the tent to go to the bathroom. And I walk out of the tent, and I'm kind of groggy, annoyed, and at that moment I look around me, and the clouds had settled below where we were camping. And so it almost looked like we were on this like island in a huge ocean of snow, like the top of the clouds. And you could see the stars, like, were so close that you could kind of touch them. And I thought for a second, oh, I'm going to wake up everybody and so they can see this. And I was like, no, this is my moment. And I just kind of sat there in my moment for a while. And I realized, like, you know, if I had not agreed to go on this trip, I would never have had that moment. And I felt so, it was a crazy moment. Regardless of religion or if you're religious or not, it's one of those moments where you're like, wow, this is... I'm a tiny speck in an enormous contraption right now. And excuse me, and it was really awesome. And then the last one I'm going to talk to you about, I need to go to my seat for a second because I forgot to bring it up with me.